album of the week.
Yep. So this is kind of picking up with, kind of made a little sense since we both, kind of went back and forth with the opening song of this album. The first Danzig record came out in '88. Um, picking up from the Sam Hain, uh, ended up getting, different people in it. I'm glad it became Danzig. Um, we've talked about this too, and you agree. The infamous Rick Rubin production, got a very distinct, a lot of people refer to as like a dry production. Um, just different record for that time. Not what I don't believe this was ever what anyone that was into the Misfits or Sam Hain would have expected. Um,
Yeah, because like most people that I know were like one or the other, not both.
mhm,
And see,
yeah.
like I, because I wasn't really into punk at that time. I didn't. I got into Danzig before I got into Misfits and Sam Hain. I had to go back.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, great songs on it, man. Like you said, Twist of Cain, amazing song. Am I Demon, amazing. She Rides, Not of This World. Um, I even looked up when I looked up earlier that song, The Hunter, was an
Mm-hmm.
Albert King song, and some of the dudes that were credited writing that song, obviously with Albert King, was dudes that ended up in the Blues Brothers band.
Damn.
Yeah,
You know,
but
Great White did a cover of that too, right?
I didn't.
Yeah,
Or either I didn't or I don't remember. I mean,
yeah.
fuck, I'm 49, man. Come on. Uh, but yeah, man, back to Danzig, I remember. So I'd seen the video for Mother, liked it. It was, kind of like similar, like what you said that time about first time you listening to Shout at the Devil. You're like, like what is this? Like
Mm-hmm.
should I be scared? Like, what's happening here?
Mm-hmm.
But it was so my eighth grade year, there was a teacher that came in, and he was a young dude. He was like maybe 21, 22. He was into skateboarding. I was into skateboarding then. I mean, I wasn't getting good at it, but me and my buddies in the neighborhood always, pushed around the neighborhood on our skateboards, listening to music. But he was the one that got me actually, he's the one that got me hip to that Danzig record, that Jane's Addiction record. And he also made, and I think I've talked about this before, he made for me on cassette a copy on side one. One side was Cro-Mag's Age of Quarrel, and the second side was Agnostic Front Cause for Alarm. And for the longest, I had that cassette for the longest. And last I remember, it had to have been like 20 years ago. Your brother Shane had it. And so what's happened to it since, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. And I doubt Shane even knows. But he was the same teacher, was the one that got me to like want to go get that Danzig. And yeah, man, I'm really glad I did because that's it when it's brass tacks of it, man, it's rock and roll. It's
Bluesy
fucking
as
rock
fuck.
and roll. Yeah, bluesy rock and roll. Yeah. See, when I say rock, and I know everybody has different thoughts, but to me, like bluesy is a part of rock.
Oh yeah, I mean,
So yeah, yeah, I loved it, man. Getting it. Um, Still listen to it to this day. Chuck Biscuits on fucking drums. Yeah. That's the classic Danzig lineup, man. Erie Vaughn on bass, John Christ on guitar. Fuck, man. Yeah.
yeah. Some of my favorite songs is "Twisted Cain," "Evil Thing," "Not
Yep.
of This
Yep.
World," and "My Demon." And we've mentioned those a few times. But
Yeah.
my I remember I went to my dad's on weekends, and I wasn't allowed to stay up and watch Headbangers Ball. So
Okay.
I'd either record it at my mom's
Hmm.
house, or I'd have friends record. I remember a buddy of mine, shout out to Jimmy, he just came up here a couple weeks ago. But
Yeah.
I remember he recorded Headbangers Ball for me that night and seeing Twist of Cain. and it was like the guitar stood out, but soon as the
Yeah.
vocals hit in, I'm like, it like caught my attention. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, this is different,
Yeah.
and it's like, like I, 88, I'm used to, Guns N' Roses and,
Absolutely. Me
Poison,
too.
vocals
Yeah.
like that. And then hearing this, it was like, it was kind of, I noticed in 1988, though, my taste of music started shifting because you had, I got into stuff like Dead Milkmen, Dirty
Hmm.
Looks, Cool from the Wire came out,
Yep.
King's X, the Circus of Power record, Zodiac Mind Warp,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Slave Raider, like 88, all that shit came out. I was like, man, 88 was a good year for music. And
Yeah.
to me, that's kind of, in my opinion, that's when glam started dying.
I see why you say that. Yeah.
Because, at least with my taste, because then in 89, then you had like, a new wave. Then you had like Tough and bands like that came out. But by
More.
88, I was, I moved on, and it's like, and because
Yeah.
I think Jet Boy first record came out in 88.
Yep.
And it's like, I mean, it was a good year for rock and roll, man.
Yeah. A lot of good albums came out. I agree, man.
Yeah.
The the first LA
LA
Guns.
Guns.
Well,
Yep.
January of '88, but still '88.
Yep.
Um,
It's funny. I remember,
87, '88, and '89, man, were the three prime years for me, man.
yeah.
Guns N' Roses, Faster Pussycat in '87, LA, all the bands you just mentioned in '88, '89, Junkyard, Dangerous Toys. Yeah. Another LA Guns record, '89,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. I remember, the guy that got me into music. I remember, when LA Guns came out, I was like, because he always was the first one in the neighborhood to buy this shit. And I was
Yeah.
like, what do they sound like? He's like, if you like Guns N' Roses and Faster Pussycat, you'll like LA Guns.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can see it because like I fucking loved it. And it is kind of in that vein.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, so back to the Danzig, I saw today on Instagram, John Christ posted uh like a flyer bill from a show date, a tour that Danzig did with Slayer, and it was Slayer, Danzig, and Junkyard. Now, I was guessing that show had to have been 90 or 91 is what I was guessing, because
Mm-hmm.
Slayer and Danzig both had albums out in '90. Junkyard, it'd come out in '89. But I hit Amy Joe up with it, and she was like, "No, that tour was in Slayer and Danzig was in '88."
Damn.
And then so Junkyard was technically, I believe, signed by Geffen then, but the record hadn't come out. So they may have just been on that one because the show was in at the Hollywood Palladium. So maybe Junkyard was just on that show and it was coincidence. That's the one John Christ posted. Or maybe Junkyard played a handful of California shows, but I don't believe they were a part of that tour. That tour was Slayer and Danzig, and that would have been fucking amazing to see in '88.
Yeah. That's an
Slayer for
odd
South of
lineup
Heaven.
though. Yeah, like that's an odd lineup, man. With Junkyard and Slayer, man. Like, not that Junkyard's
Yeah,
bad, it's just open for, I mean, it's hard to open
yeah,
for Slayer.
I would have been about it though.
I know,
Seeing the
me too, but
yeah,
I'm saying,
yeah.
like, I mean, it's well known that it's hard to open for
Slayer, yeah,
Slayer.
Slayer fans just want
Don't give a
Slayer.
fuck about anybody.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah,
they want
yeah,
Slayer, that's it.
yeah. Fuck you, where's Slayer?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man. So yeah, that Danzig record clearly made an impact on a lot of people. And that's where it started, man, with that record. And something different for that, like I said, different for that time, different from the other thing you already said, from what Glenn Danzig had done prior. So yeah. and just simple. Everything about the album artwork and the videos, the songs,
Hmm.
everything's just simple.
Yeah.
That's part of the why I think it's so good though too.
Yeah.
Just stripped down, yeah.
But yeah, like I said, like when I first heard those vocals, it was like, you know,
Hmm.
I didn't know if I liked it or hated
Right.
it, but it caught my attention. I
Yeah.
was like, what the fuck is this, man? I was like, and I remember buying it on cassette, and was like, man, like this dude, this is so fucking good, man.
And that's part of the vote, like you said, the vocals, part of the reason why I think it was so different for 88.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Rick Rubin knew what he was doing, bringing that one and being a part of that, man.
Now, how far did you go with Danzig Records?
The first two.
See, like I like the
Yeah.
first four.
Yeah, the first two. Yeah.
So you didn't even like How the Gods Kill? See, I thought that was a good record.
I may know a couple songs off of it, but that came, I'm assuming that had to come out in like 92, How the Gods Kill.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, I similar like certain things you said, like my interest had already started, going into other styles, like more into hardcore. For a brief around that time, I don't know, it was some death, I believe. But I had seen Dan's. It had to probably that album or that the live one after it, because I want to say it was like 93, 94 ish. I saw the first time I saw Danzig.
Hmm. But see, I seen him on the How the Gods Kill tour. Caius.
See, I might have been when I saw him then, because I vaguely remember. I mean, fuck, man, it was 30 years ago. I know you remember a lot of that shit more detailed than some that I do. I mean, there's some I do very. When I say some, I'm meaning shows and seeing bands 30 years ago, 25
Mhm.
years more um, than others. But it might have been Danzig and Caius. I might have seen around then too. Then because I like Caius back then.
Oh
That's
yeah, that Blues to the Red Sun is
yeah,
fucking awesome record.
yep. But yeah, seeing man, I remember Danzig playing at the Newport. Also had to been in '88 because I would see
Yeah.
whatever the newspaper would have every Thursday would have upcoming shows like at whatever venues in Columbus.
Hmm.
So I would always look at the Newport. I never got to go to any prior to 1990, unfortunately, but I remember seeing Danzig play there, Suicidal, seeing those bands back. I've seen both those bands at the Newport, but seeing them in like 87, 88
Yeah.
on those particular albums would have been just fucking awesome.
Yeah, I remember them playing in '88. I can't remember who opened, but I remember it was like kind of like a big band, but I can't remember who it was.
You remember someone in 88?
With Danzig, yeah, at the Newport. The show, probably the show you were talking about.
Okay. Slayer, probably, because it was Danzig and Slayer that toured in 88.
Well, I remember the first time I remember Danzig playing here, he was headlining the Newport. Maybe then it might have been off of Lucifuge then,
Oh, very possible.
but
Yeah.
um, but yeah, the show I'm thinking of, they were headlining.
Okay.
So I remember I had nobody to go with, so I didn't go because I didn't drive, so I didn't have nobody to go with, and I missed it.
Yep.
Remember, I think I went with a friend or something for How the Gods Killed, but I remember I wanted to see him, and I'm gonna have to look it up. I can't remember who they played.
Mm. Yeah. Let me know if you find it. Let me know. Let me know.
Oh well, right on. Anything else?
No, like, subscribe, comment.
Yeah, I'm curious to see who's watching. You know, comment, at least say hi, just so we can kind of see who, you
Yeah.
know, who the following is. You don't have
Yeah.
to leave like a long message, and like Amy Joe supports every show, and you know,
Yes.
we totally appreciate that. That's awesome. You know, so
100%, man.
just say hi if anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Right on. All right. Five and
Well,
out.
5 and out.